the days where my son doesn't wake up at 1 o'clock, 2 a.m., 6 a.m. Nah, they're great. Kids are great. Thanks for asking. Thanks for sticking around. We have a lot to cover. And like I said, being back, right? I think let's talk about that first. I do plan to keep doing content throughout the summer, sporadically. Look, I wish I could be there every day. But for that, that's my Twitter, right? I think we could have some good talks. Look at the new midfield that Roma's getting, the new striker, new defenders, what else is going on in the transfer world. We've got our WhatsApp group if anyone would like to join, where we have light banter and discussions about Roma and Italian football. Life's been good, busy. My house, as you could tell, I got my little studio a little bit back in order here. I've got some new shoes my friend Anthony Buono made for me. We're going to look at some graphs today. What else? Played some soccer with some football with my son in the backyard this morning. Had a new BMW X3 that I was loaning. I've been driving around the past 2 days. Scored a goal last night in my little 7-a-side match down in Hoboken, which overlooks the Empire State Building. Very cool. But enough about me, so self-centered. Let's take a look at first Richard Rios. And I know that this situation has been ongoing. Every day it's like Rios about to join. Rios gives up his right. Rios sleeping in bed at night with a Roma shirt on, but not yet signed. And why not? Apparently that Palmeiras is holding out for for the 30 million valuation that they see on him. Roma's offered something like 28, including bonuses, something around that. 25 years old. I think he fits in perfectly to the midfield. And why is that? Is he going to be, would he be like the Ederson type? I'm not sure. I think he provides something a little bit different. I think he's even more better at progressing with the ball. But one thing that he does, and we saw with Colombia, is he's that connection between the defense and the midfield. And he helps start the counterattack really quickly. He gets the ball up the pitch. He wins it back as well. He has a high rate of tackles and interceptions. He'll fight in the air for you. This is a player who I think that sometimes people criticize as well. He's 25 years old. How come he's not in Europe yet? How come his stats haven't been so profound this past season? I think that the last one is a good question to ask. I don't think that him being 25 and still in Brazil or South America is a discredit to him. 25 is still relatively young. If he does join in the next 4 years, let's say that's his contract, he's going to definitely hit his prime during that time. So I think that's something to consider too. But he's got excellent dribbling skills. We're going to take a look at some of his ratings as well. We can go over what Copa America was like. So I want to pull that up right here real quick. I can't show the video. I got to somehow pause this real quick. But let's take a look at this. So starting all 6 matches for Colombia last year, they got to the final. He led the tournament in dribbles with 14. Big disruptor with the opposition's attack, always driving into space. Like I mentioned, he's dribbling, decisive passes, energetic pressing. And this is what made Colombia the leading goal scorers of the tournament with 12 goals. His coach said he was instrumental in the Copa America run. His presence gave them stability, allowed them to transition quickly. This is something which is going to be so fundamental, so important to Gasperini, because once they win the ball back, they're going to look to progress it as fast as they can. Then he said afterwards that in the moment you don't understand why you finished second, but you have to learn to reach success later. So I like that he talks about reaching success and that sometimes it takes time. I think that's a mature thing to say for, like I said, a relatively young player or someone who's coming kind of into his own at this point. Well, he better be, right? For upwards of 30 million euros with a sell-on fee, he's got to be that guy. One player who is about to sign officially is Neil El Aynaoui, a Moroccan player, midfielder here, 23 years old. And you're going to take a look at the chart here, which has been going around, which compares the two players. Now let's break this down. What you see in red is the player who would be coming over from Lens, and Rios is in yellow. So the belief was that because they're getting El Aynaoui, that Roma's not going to be pursuing Rios, that it was one or the other. But what this shows us that it's probably going to be both that they're trying for, because they are different players. They do different things. If we look at the key passes, that's somewhat similar. Through balls, not as much for the Colombian, much more for the Moroccan. And we could see that also for Aynaoui. His interceptions are way higher. His tackles are as well. And as well as his headers won. That's really important because one thing that Gasp demands is that the players win the ball in the air. That's part of the counter press, winning it back quickly. Where is Rios more successful in? That's progressive carries, successful dribbles, goal scoring contributions are about the same. So I think that he would play a little bit further up. I was talking in another Roma chat about if he would be like the Ederson, and I do think that Rios is more the Ederson, whereas Aynaoui would be more like a Pasalic, who's the guy who's going to play a little bit deeper in that midfield three and then make those late runs into the box, who could also play different positions as well. It's not a stagnant position that we're going to see. Like the way that Pasalic was used was, yes, as a center midfielder, yes, late runs, but also sometimes as a trequartista, as an attacking midfielder. Very varied, and that's the way that Gasperini likes to play. That's what makes him so unpredictable as a manager. So I think the both of them would add some really nice life to the midfield, which, aside from KONE, has been really dragging, right? If you talk about Pellegrini and Cristante, will Cristante ever not be a Roma player? At this point, I don't know. I mean, there were the rumors that he might go to Como, but you can kill the man, but you can't kill the legend, they say, right? And I think that really applies to Cristante. He's forever there. It's unbelievable. I want to take a look at the center attacking mid position. This one is unique because, like what Koopmeiners did, one thing that made him so important to the Atalanta that was very good, the one that dominated Serie A midfield, is that he would often come back and fight for the ball, like I said, in the air. Is that going to be the role that Aynaoui plays? I don't think so. Like I said, I think he's going to be more like the Derun of this team. And the Pasalic mix there. Ederson, more the Rios. So who takes up that Koopmeiners role? I'm not absolutely sure yet. I don't think it's KONE. I don't think he has that skill set where he could play as advanced. Is it going to be Baldanzi? Well, Baldanzi's much smaller, much less physical. Is it going to be Dybala? Same type of issue, right? So between those two, I mean, I could see both of them share time, like Baldanzi much less. I don't know where the space is going to be for him because Miranchuk is going to be, or the Dekeletare is going to be the Sule and Dybala, those two, along with Dovbik. So how does that all fit? It's probably going to be some type of different tactic to how the center attacking mid operates. Of course, Dovbik, or if Evan Ferguson comes over, and we'll discuss that in a minute, they're going to be the guys who are like your bottom right here, your Miranchuk, Skamaka, your center forward. I'm just using these terms like interchangeably up top because like Gasperini is quite varied in his attack. And then Lookman. And I think that brings us to another question okay, you have your bottom two, but what about your attacking mid? What about your left wing? Does Roma have any guy who can remotely replace Lookman or be that type of player? No. If Sule plays out on the left, but that's not his bread and butter. That's not what he's really good at. And neither is Dybala. So the two of them kind of occupy the same space. And it was only because Dybala went down that Sule, under Ranieri, had that real growth spot, that big period where he was racking up like a goal or assist almost every single match. And a few of those were game winners or impacted the way where Roma earned a point or got like the go-ahead goal. So that's a space to watch too. This is not going to be a complete team just in the summer. Other stuff we got going on. This is a player here. This was from, what is today? Today's what? The 18th? This is 5 days ago. Still with OReilly, right? This was a target from Gasperini last year when Koopmeiners was sold. That's why I say still. And he was linked, I guess about a month ago. So this is still hanging around here. I like OReilly a lot. I covered him when he was at Celtic for Football Italia. I think that he could be a great player in Serie A. He will fight in the air. He's your trequartista. This is a modern attacking midfielder here. And I think he would be great for Roma. I think he'd be great under Gasperini. Now, if Roma are making 3 major purchases in midfield and not being complete yet with the team, right? What does that mean? How are they all of a sudden able to spend this type of money? A little bit more relaxed financial fair play rules, I understand, but there's going to be somebody sold, I think. Is that Baldanzi? Is that KONE? I wouldn't rule out either of them. If PSG come knocking for KONE and they offer 60 million, let's say, does Roma take it? It's something to really think about, that's for sure. But when you factor in the amount of games they'll be playing with Europa League, how far they can possibly get and get into Champions League, do you kind of like shoot yourself in the foot by selling KONE? I don't know. If you get in somebody like Ferguson, I think it makes the team more balanced. It's just a thought. I'm not selling our Roma's star French midfielder just today. So let's watch that space, but I really do like O'Reilly a lot. And this is just the cover, or one of the covers for Football Italia today. Ferguson talks continue. They're still waiting on the deal with Ferguson, who has been really a powerful player in the past before he got that bad injury. I think he could be a nice young gamble here from the Friedkins. Go in and purchase this player who could potentially become a star if he gets some rhythm under him. We know that Gasperini puts his center forwards in areas where they're going to score a lot of goals. And I think that brings us to one point I wanted to mention before we sign off here. Retegui. This dude's going to make 20 million a year over 4 years. I think it's 4. So 80 million euro contract. That's upwards of 90 million American dollars for 4 years for a really good forward. An elite forward? No. Definitely not. So congratulations to him for becoming one of the richest men in Argentina, because this is just ridiculous. What does it mean for him, for the Azzurri, for the national team? Well, you got to play against the cream of the crop if you want to be the starter for the Azzurri, because when it comes time to where you are trying to qualify for the World Cup, that's not such a great look, guys. That's one reason why Messi was even looking into coming back to Europe ahead of the World Cup next year. So, FIFA Club World Cup was played right in my backyard. It's in East Rutherford, and I live in the town right next over. Seems to have gone pretty good. The heat has been horrendous. This is the first day since July 4th that has actually had broken. The humidity has been, I don't know how these players are playing in it. Enzo Fernandez criticized it, I think after the semifinal. It's been, I guess to use a British term, dreadful. But it really has been. Just, I don't know. They're going to have to do something with like the water breaks, cooling breaks, or make these matches all at night, because you cannot play in the heat of the day in mid to late June, early July in New Jersey. It's not realistic. But yeah. Guys, leave some comments. Let me know what you think about today's episode. We also have Ghilardi, who Roma have been supposedly bid on, who would maybe slot right in, perhaps ahead of Kumbula in Gasperini's back three, which is very fluid. You have to be very fast. I know Ghilardi is a U21 international for the Azzurri. He just represented them. He's a tall center back as well, coming over from Verona. So I'd like to see that happen. It doesn't hurt to make Roma a little bit more Italian here and there. It's a good thing that hopefully these players get into the Italian national team too. Remember back in 2006, of course, Perotta, Totti, De Rossi, that contingency represented Italy really well, coming over from the Giallorossi. Any last remarks? I don't think so. Yeah, keep an eye on that left wing and what happens. Lookman now looks to be going to Inter Milan. That's a great pickup for them. It's not a pickup, it's a 40 million euro move. Napoli signed Lang. They got De Bruyne. They signed Luca. They've been making big moves. I think they're my favorites to retain the Scudetto, but you never know. If Roma comes with a big mercato under a fantastic manager, you never know what could happen. And these Conte teams seem to burn out when they have European competition as well. And if they make a run in the Champions League past the round of 16 into like the quarterfinals, they're going to burn out. That's for sure. De Bruyne is no spring chicken. He's like almost my age. And I know how hard it is to run when it gets hot. So let's see what happens with that. But I guess if I had to say, they're going to win the Scudetto. But watch Roma. All right, guys. Talk soon. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Happy to see you again and talk.